Hello guys, and welcome to day 15 of this full stack modern hospital management system. So in our last day or day 14 of this project, we started working on this background services here. We explain what background services will do and what it will accomplish in our project. So today we'll continue with our background services, and also we'll be finishing working on background services. So today we are going to work on this folder here that is called email service, and we'll just see how we can create the functions that we'll be using to send the emails that we require in our project. For the first email that we require, we'll just be sending admission reports, the patient that report that the patient have been, those patient who have been admitted a specific day. Another thing is that we'll have appointment email, whereby a doctor will receive an email if they have an appointment or appointment has been booked with them by a patient. And also we'll be having a welcome email that is will be sent when the user has been registered in our system. Also, we'll have a diagnosis email, and that diagnosis email will be sent when the patient have received treatment or diagnosis. So without much ado, if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing, and also you can like this video and comment, and I will appreciate that. So without much ado, let's get into the tutorial. So to start with, let us start with admission report. So inside this folder email service here is where we get admission report. So it say admission report, just like that, .js or .ts, just like that. So inside this folder here, inside this file, now we start working on our logic on how to send the report. So the first thing that we'll do is to import, first of all, because we'll be using a templating. So we just import EJS from EJS, like you can see here. And again, now I can see here is as if we have an error, and I think we need to install the types. So when you hover over it, you can see we need to install the types. So just copy this here, and then come here in your terminal. Now what we'll do, we just paste that command there. So let it install. It is a small package, as you have seen in later videos. So it has already installed, and the error should have gone now by now. So let's see if it has finished installing. So it's just installing. So now the error is gone. So another thing that we import is this Mssql, that one from Mssql. Remember, our background services will interact with our database. Then we just import .env from .env, and again now what we'll do is we'll import sendMail, because this is the function that we'll be using most of the time. That's why we put it in here in helpers, because in this helper folder here we put those functions or a code that we'll be reusing. It's just like a folder for functions, because functions are the ones that are reusable, that is. So now again, another thing, because we need to do stop procedures or to execute stop procedure, we just import connection. Here you can see this connection here, and you can see it is coming from our database.ts here, because this one now will be helping us to just execute stop procedures. I explained this when we are programming backend, so you can just go through it, and it is not a must that you master this file here. You can use it whenever you want. I will just be pushing code in GitHub. You can go through it and try to understand it, and again you can use it, make your own, and you can use it whenever you want. So another thing is that you just have to install something that is called JSON to CSV. So because we need to just convert the report So inside here, we need to do npm, and then let us look for CSV to JSON, or JSON to CSV. It is called JSON to CSV, just like that. So let us look for this package here, because the one that will be helping us to just convert. So let's see. Here we can see, let us see what it will be doing. So even before you start using it, you can learn about the documentation here. So as you can see, they say that it converts JSON into CSV with column titles and proper line endings, can be used as a module and from the command line. So one of the things that I like about this package is this feature here. It is fast and lightweight in our case, and also it is scalable to infinitely large dataset using stream processing. So it's something that you should look into, because it will help you to just compile your JSON to CSV or the report that you want. And you can learn more about it. Like here you can see the report that is sending, or it generates here. So just go through it and you'll understand. But for now, we just go through the video and we can see how we can use it. So let us copy this JSON to CSV. So inside here now, what we can do, we can just paste this package there, and then let us install. It's not a very big package, but it does a lot. So it has already installed. So inside here now, what we need to do is just import something that is called pass, and from now we just import from JSON.csv, and I think we need to install types. You can see we have this error. So hover over it, you can see the command. Copy this command here. So let us copy that command, and then in our terminal here, just paste it just like that. So it installs the package. So the first thing first that I want to do is to just create an instance here. So we just do new connection just like that, as we were doing in our backend. And now the other thing that I want to do is this .env.config here, just like that. So now the other thing that I want to do is now to create our function that is report email. So what we'll do is just say const and then report email. We just call our function this report email, and this is you can call it the way you want. So I'll just add as async, because there are things that we need to do asynchronously. So inside here now, the other thing is to call this function, is to initialize this function, but we need to export this function. So we just say this export default and then report email, just like that. So inside here now, we start coding now. So the first thing that I want to get is the data from our database on this thing. What we'll do is just say const and then patients here, and then here you can see we need to add okay, let me first of all add this here, db.exec here, and then let us call the stop procedure that is called check patient, and this check patient will get all the patient with admission column of 0. I'll just show you what I mean. So first thing first, let me first of all call that stop procedure here, and here I'll need to strong type it. So let us create an interface for patient. So I'll just say interface and then patient here, and if you remember, in our patient we had columns like name, resident area, room admitted, admission number, ID, and then we have a column that is called is sent. So let me copy and paste everything command this interface here. So let us copy and then let us paste here. So now you can see this is the interface for patient, and it has all these here, these columns here. So now what this stop procedures here does, it will just check all patients who have this is sent, or this table that is called patient or patients. It will just check for this is sent, and it will just call or query all the records that have is sent to be 0, because that means that we haven't sent that report, or we haven't included that patient in our report for the next day or the next time we are sending. So that will be updating then. So even I can show you the stop procedure. So let us go here, and then inside here, and then in our DB here, inside stop procedure here, what we can do, let us look for check patient, and then we see what that does, because I don't want you guys to be confused. So let us look here for check patient. You can see here, this is the command for check patient. You can see we are selecting all from the patient table where is sent is equals to 0, and then we'll be updating this is sent to 1, so that the next time that function is running, we'll have that column as 1 and it won't be queried. So now inside here, the other thing that we need to do now is to now give this as we need to give this, because we have strong typed it. So this one actually is patient here, and I want to give this as capital letter here. So we just type it just like that, because remember, TypeScript is all about strong typing. And then this one should be an array. So now the other thing that we do is, first of all, we look if we have patient, because if we don't have patients who have been admitted that day, then we don't need to send the report. So we just say patient and length, because if you don't check here, now it will just give you error, because our JSON to CSV will just break your application. So the first thing that we need to do is to create that CSV. So to create CSV, you need to add const CSV, and then we just use pass. Remember, this pass is just a function that we are using here, that we are importing from this json.csv. So now this pass here is the one that you give the patients here. So you just give it the patients. So this one, now you're giving the pass this patients array here, or JSON data. And then now inside here, now we can just start coding the functionality to just send the data. So now, because I want us to use template, what we'll do, just do render file. So to use the template, you need to do EJS, and then we say render file, and then inside here, render file is just a function, and this function, the first argument that it takes is the template that you want to use. So this one is templates, we'll call it templates, and again, now we just use the template that we want. Remember, the templates are here, and you can see we have this report here, report.ejs. So we'll just add report.ejs, and when the second command here, or the second argument, is just a callback here, and this callback here will set it as async, because there are things that we'll do inside here that are async. So this is a callback, and this callback here will have either error or data. So inside here, now we need to add this function or this callback, and again, now the first thing that you need to do is to initialize these message options. This one now will specify from which email we want to send from and to which email we want to send to. And this one here, we'll just call it email options or message options. And again here, this one will be an object. So we'll have from here, remember this, everything here is coming from node mailer. So the first email that we want, the email that we want to send from will be the one that we have in our .env file, and we have specified this email is the one that we'll be using to send the email, and also is the one that we'll be sending this report to. Remember, you can specify any email that you want. So here we just say process.env and then .email, just like that. And again, the other thing that we need to add is the subject. Remember, in an email you have subject, and inside here you can add any string. So mine will be hi here. Here is your daily. Here is your daily report. Just like that. And again, now you need to send the data here, which is HTML. We have this HTML here, and then what you need to send here now is this data that will be produced if we don't have this error. So now the other thing is attachments, and now here is where we'll be sending the report. So I'll just say attachments. So attachments, just like that. And this is an array, it will accept an array, and this array will contain this object. So the first thing is the file name, and the file name can be anything. For my case here, I'll call it daily report. And remember, this time now it is CSV here, or comma separated value file. And now the contents here, let's add these contents, and the content here will be CSV, just like that. So you can see this CSV is the one that we are sending as content here. But remember, now we need to update the value, because remember, we are just getting all patients that have a column that is, or the patient table. We are getting all the patients that have eSend as 0. Now we need to update. So because the next time that we are scheduling for this, or this function will be running next time, it won't send the email or the report for that patient, or that patient would be included in that report, because remember that they maybe would have passed. So, and we have already included that patient in the previous report. So I think you can get the logic. So now the thing that we need to do here is now to just try and now send the email with the report. So what we'll do, just try and catch here, because you can have error. So what we'll do, we need to await, and that's why we are using async here in our callback here. Remember, because we are sending the email after we have used the template here. So inside here, we can do send mail. Now remember, the send mail is coming from our helper here, helpers. And now inside here, now you can see now these message options. Remember, in this function here, we require that message options, or even you can come here and look where this message options is being used. So inside here, you can see this send mail here require this message options, and this message options is the one now we are getting here inside here, and this message options is this one here, where from which email that we are sending from, and to which email, subject, and then the data and the attachments. So now we have sent the email. Now the other thing now we need to do is to update those records that we have sent, to have a record of, or the column is sent to be 1, so that the next time it won't be included in our report. So what we'll do, we just execute that, and now inside here we call a stop procedure called update patient status email sent. I called it this email sent, and again now inside here now you can see we have updated that. And then if we have an error, what we can do, we can console log, because this one is not talking with the front end. It won't send the data or the error to the front end. So let me first of all format this. Let me format it. So let us format it, and I think it has already been formatted. So now we can just check this stop procedure here, this one for update patient email sent, and you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see here we have this stop procedure here, and what you can see what it does is to update patient, and then it is sent to 1, where is sent is equals to 0, meaning that day everything will be after it have sent that email or that report. It means that every record for that day will be set to 1. That is, the column is sent because that one is the one that we are using to check if that patient have been included in the report. I think it's not that hard for you guys to grasp, or you can just, if you're not understanding, you can kindly tell me to explain again in another video, a separate video, and then I think that it will be good to go, because this logic, I use it most of the time because it's very efficient, and these are some of the things that you do when you want to just know how to create automated systems. So another thing, now we need to call this function here, the report email, in our scheduling here. So now if we needed to have like a separate run function here, because now in that function we need to set that the report to be, or that scheduling to run once in a day. Maybe you want to run that function 7 in the evening, or 6 in the evening, or in the midnight. You can just come here or work with this here, this scheduling here. And as I showed you, you can use the cron tab here. You can use the cron tab to run on how you can schedule that thing. So that task, that is. So you can come here, run about this scheduling, and you'll see how you can schedule that task to run once in a day in the midnight. And you can see like here, this here will run at 5 minutes at 4, and every day, that is. You can see how you can even use this one and it will operate okay. But in our scenario here, because we can't wait for maybe that time, what we'll do now, we'll just imagine that it will be running after 1 minute, of which it won't be. That is something that can't be logic, or it can't have a logic, because you can't just checking for patients that have been admitted every minute, because sometimes you won't have even a patient who will be admitted in that time interval. So what we'll do, just run about schedule task. In our case here, we just use this 1 minute in order, because this is a tutorial, it's not a real world task, and we want to test it. So let me remove this, and then inside here now I can call the function report email, or what are we, yeah, this is a report email here, and now you can call that as the function. You can see here. So now we need to add the other reports here. Now you can see how we have done this, and remember, I'll be including the link to this here. I will be including the link to this source code in my GitHub, so you can just go through it and see where you don't understand, and you can just go through it, learn about this, and I think we'll be okay. So now the other thing here, let me see if we can add another file now, and this time we'll say welcome email, here, and we'll just call it yes. Here we are using TypeScript, remember. So now this one here, we need to code a function that will be sending an email when the user have been registered. Remember, in our application, the admin is the one that will be sending those, will be adding users or will be registering users in our system. So first thing first, you need to import the EJS from EJS, just like that. And then again, we need to import Mssql, or even I don't think we need Mssql at this point. So just import .env from .env, just like that, .env. So another thing is that we'll be importing, I think I can import connection this way. So, and then you can import this SQL config. I don't think I need it, so let me I won't be using it, so I won't import it. So we'll be now importing this send mail function. So now here we need to include this .env.config so that we can be able to use the .env file. So, and then we need to create an instance for our connection. So connection here, just like that, and then we can call that function to create an instance. And because it is an instance, here we need to add a new here. So another thing now is to just create interface, because here we need it just like we did with our report. So interface, and this time we're creating an interface for user, because you remember we are using details for user. So the user data table, or it has a string, an ID, it is a string, or is a number, I guess is a number. I'll just update that. We have a name that is a string, and we have email that is a string also here, and then we have a role that is string, and we have isSend, and isSend here is just a number, and is a number here. So inside here, an ID is just a number, so just like that. So now we need to call the function. So remember, we need to have this function that we call welcome. So we have to add this welcome email, just like that. And inside here, we need to use async. And now inside here, we need to add this, yeah, and then we need to export this function. So just say export default, default, and we'll just say welcome email, just like that. So inside here, the first thing that we need to do is to check the users with a column of isSend to be 0. You can see here we have this column here that is by default it will be 0 when the email has not been sent. So we need to get those users. So users, and then I give it an interface of user, but it is an array, and then I'll just execute. Now I just execute our stop procedure for checking the user. So just do exec.db.exec, and then inside here now what we'll do is just check user like that, and then get the record set. Those will be an array, so of users who have a record of 0, or we have a isSend record to be 0, or a column that is 0. And again, now we need now to loop through it. So we just say for, because we need to get or to send for each patient or for each user. So we just say let user of users, just like that. And inside here now, we just use our template. So we just say injs.render file. Remember what we are doing. And here the first thing that we need to add is our templates. We need to make sure that you know where this is located at, this template, and then we say welcome.ejs, just like that. And again inside here, because remember our template here for welcome a patient, we can add some input, and one of the input that we require here is the name, and this is how you can pass argument, like an argument in a function. You can just use this one, and then inside here now, to add the argument, you can as a second argument for this render file function, we require to add that what you need to add as an argument to be passed in this template here. So we'll just include as the name, because we call it the name in our template. So now inside here we just say name, and again inside here we just say we need to get the name for the user. You can see you can get the name because we have already strong typed it. So now that is the only thing that we need to pass in our template. So the other argument now is our callback. Remember, so our callback here, now we need to have an error and the data, and here it will be async because we require to do some functions or some tasks that are asynchronous. So just do it that way. Let me first of all format so that we have this good looking formatting. So now inside here, what we'll do, we just get options, and in our case here is the same thing that we did with our report email. So we just say options, message options, and then inside here now we can have that object. So first, if you remember, is our from, and this one will get the email that we'll be sending, the emails or the email origin. So we need to use process.env and the email, and then we just send to user.email because we want to send to the user email. And then the subject, here, this subject, yeah, we need to add the subject, and the subject we said it can be any string that you want. In our case here, I'll just say welcome to Nodejs because this is the hospital that we are building system for. And then HTML here, HTML option will accept the data. So that's all that I wanted to include here. But I think here I have some, it is giving me this and I don't want. Okay, so this is the data, and don't know why it is giving me this error. So the data is this one here, this one. So just like that, and again here we can include the attachment, but this time because we won't be sending the attachments, you can just leave it like that. Remember, we are using attachments in our report because we are sending attachments in our report. So now inside here we need now to update, to now send the email. So just say try catch, and then inside here what we'll do, first thing, we just await and then call the function for send mail, this one here, and then give message options, just like that. So another thing is that we need to await to execute stop procedure to update our, update user to have a record of eSend to be 1 now, because the next time that our function is running, it won't get that user as somebody who has not received an email. So that is what I want to do here. So eSend, and again now that's all. And here now we can console log the error. just like that. You can console log and this console log error. And now we have done everything. So remember, you can see the logic here. You get all users which have sent record to be 0, and then we send the email using the template, and then after that we update that is record to be 1, so that even you can come here and in our stop procedure and look what this stop procedure is for. So let me save, and again now we need to add another email here, or first of all let me call that function here. And here you can include even more functions, like this one we can call it for report, this one here, because you can schedule different tasks or different function to run different tasks. But in our case here, I will just use one function, this here, and it will be running after 1 minute. So I call it welcome here, welcome email, and you can see it here. It is imported, and now we just call that function. So another thing, or the other email that we'll be using inside here is the one for admission or appointment. Let's use this one for appointment, or for the appointment, and it is the same thing. Everything is just the same, but I'll just go through it, although it looks like it's a repetitive task, but it will help you to understand if you're not understanding. So I'll just say appointment.ts, just like that, and then appointment.ts, and then first thing that we need to import here is EJS for templating, and this one will be from EJS. And again we need to import .env from .env, just like that. So another one is import send mail, you can see it here. And again we need to import connection. Oh no, this one I've done mistake here. So another one is import connection here from this helpers database. And then okay, and then another thing is now to create an instance of connection. So we just say db and then new, and then call this one here, this class or the function. So now the other thing we need to do is to do .env .config here, just like that. And now we need first of all to create an interface for appointment, just like that. And inside here we need to have an ID, which is a number, and again we need to have patient email. Remember, these are the records that we have in this table, the table for appointment. So we have patient name, and this one here is a string, and we need to have doctor email here, and this one here is a string, just like that. And we have date here, and this one is a string. And now we need to have patient email, because we need to show the doctor the email for the patient, so that if they want to send an email back, they will send. So, and now we sent here, and this one here we call it a number, just like that. So this is a record that we'll be using, helping us to send the email. So first thing first, let me create the function const appointment email, just like that, and then it's just a narrow function, so we call it this way. And then now we need to export default, and then this is appointment email, just like that. So now inside here we need to const appointments, appointments, and this appointments is array of appointments, and inside here we need now to strong type it and give it an interface of appointments that is array, and then we just say await and then db.exec here, and this time we'll be calling this stop procedure that is called check appointment, just like that, check appointment, and then the record set, because remember we need the record set, record set. I don't know where the problem is, so we need to have this .exec and then record. Okay, let me remove this and then I just say record set. Don't know why it is not working for me, so let me first of all repeat. So I just say db.exec, and now inside here we just say record set, and it is not giving me what I need because it need to give me an option for record set. But first of all, I think it's because we have not added async here, this one here, because it knows that this is an asynchronous function. And then we have check appointment, and check appointments stop procedure just check the appointment that have a record of 0 in this isent column. So now here we need to call record set, because remember we need to get those values, we need to get this array of these appointments. And now down here what we need to do is just to start looping through these appointments and sending the one by one. So we just say let appointment of appointments. You know how to do the looping using this let of. So inside here now we can call EJS and we say render file. This render file here, the first argument will be the templates that you want to use. So we just say templates, and then it is appointment here, appointment.ejs. You can see it here, this one here, and then this one it requires some two arguments, because if you come here in appointments, you can see we require some argument that will be used inside here. You can see we have this name that will and the date here. So inside here in our appointment, what we need to do here, we need to add those arguments as an object. So the first thing that we need to do is to get the name, and this one will be coming in terms of from appointment dot patient name, just like that. And the second will be appointment and date, that date, and this one will be from appointment. Okay, I'm just doing some silly mistakes. So appointment dot now the date, just like that. And I want to format that it to look good. So inside here you can see we have that, but remember I just want to just do it here because I don't want to give us some errors or I don't want it to look a bit weird. So inside here now, remember we'll have to a callback that will have either an error or the data inside here. So and remember we need to use this as async because we just do asynchronous task. So inside here we need to have that function as a callback. So inside here now, what we do, we just add the message option so that we send that email. So inside here, first thing first, what we'll do, let's create let message option, and by this time, because I know you know what is required here, I won't start adding everything, or I'll just copy what we need to that message option and then I'll send it here. So that's all that I want to include here. So that is the message option. Is like the way we did with the others. This time you can see we are sending attachment, sending, and then I think I can just remove this attachment because I don't think we require it this time. And now inside here, after now we have these message options. So what we'll do is to now send the email. So we have try catch, and let me first of all inside here we call await, and we send mail. We send this mail here, and we'll give it a message options just like that. So the other thing is await, and then we have db.exec, and this time we just update. Now we just update, and we call this procedure that is called update appointment that will be now updating the e-sent record to be 1, so that next time we'll not be sending the email, that email to, or that appointment to the doctor. It will already be marked as the email has been sent to the doctor. So now let me first of all console log here, console log, and then this one is an error. So let me first of all add that, and then let me format. Yes, so that's okay. You can see now that looks great. So now we need to add the last one, and before that, let me first of all add that function here. So appointment email, and then you can do it, call it that function here. So we require the other email, and the other email will be for diagnosis, because we need to send the email when the patient has been diagnosed, so that it will help the person who is looking for or will be looking after the patient to know the email. They can track the email and see the patient, the treatment that the patient is receiving. So inside here now, what we'll do is just create a diagnosis email. So we just add a file here. This time we'll just say diagnosis, or you can call it treatment, wherever you want. So inside here now we can do the same way, import EJS from EJS, just like that. And again we need to import .env here from .env, just like that. And again we need to import sendmail, you can see it there, and connection, because you need to execute stop procedure. You can say import connection from, or you have already done that. So the first thing that you need to do is to create an instance. db is equals to new connection, just like that. And again we just say .env .config, just like that. And now let us create an interface. This time this because diagnosis has a lot of columns, I'll just paste it. So inside here I just paste the interface for diagnosis, and it will be this one here. So now inside here now we need to add the function. So just say diagnosis, and then actually it is a function. We say diagnosis email. Don't know why I don't want it to be a capital letter. So I'll just say diagnosis email, just like that. And this is an arrow function. We are doing the same thing. So this is like a repetitive or repeating, but it's okay, because I know some who won't be understanding the first time. So this time will be now okay for them to understand, or it will be good. Now it will be their time to understand. So export default and then diagnosis email, because we'll be exporting it to be used in index.ts. So the first thing first, we need to const and get our diagnosis that will be having this sent record to be 0, because meaning that record, the email won't have been sent. So diagnosis, and then it is an array, and then we say await, and then we say db.exec, and this time we just say check it. We call that stop procedure calls called check diagnosis, and we just say record set. And see, it is not executing since we don't have here a sync. So this one is record set, and again now we can loop. So we just say for, and then let diagnose just like that from diagnosis, because we are looping, and inside here now is where we start coding. So that off, this is not from, is off. So now inside here we just add the template. Remember, we need to have the template. We have the template for diagnosis. So we need to have EJS and render file. You can see it here. And again, inside here now, the first options, as you know, is template that we'll be using. So we just say templates, and then you can see it here, this diagnosis here. So we just called it, or we just take the name diagnosis.ejs. The second option here, and we need to have now like this argument here, because we need to add or to input the name and the diagnosis description inside our here in our diagnosis. We need to have the name, and this name is for the name of the treatment here. You can see here the name, and also we need to have this. We need to add an attachment that will be sending the content, and the content will be a description of that diagnosis. So inside here in our diagnosis, what we'll do, we'll just add the name, and this name here we get it from diagnose dot, now the name for the treatment, it is here. And the second option, although it's not a must, but it is a description here. And this description here now, what we need to have is we get it from diagnose and description, because we have description. So now inside here, the third argument in our render file function is our callback. Remember, we need to have this callback, and this callback here, it is give us error or data. So we just need to call this callback here, and inside here now we can continue and create the message option. So this time I'll just type it. So let message options, and this time this is an object, and the first thing is from, and this from is the email that we'll be sending from. So it is env and then .email, just like that. And the second is the to, or the email that you want sent to. So this is diagnose, and we'll be sending to patient email, because the patient who is receiving will be receiving that treatment. So the third thing is the subject here, and subject you can add any string. So I'll just add here like a certain message. Let me copy this message here, and this message here will say hello, here is the treatment, and then it will just send this here as the data. So now the last thing that we need to do is to include HTML option, and HTML option is the one that is sending the data. So come here and add that data here. So we need to have attachment this time because we need to send the description in attachment. So we need to have attachments just like that. And attachment, remember, it requires to have an array of object. So the first thing is the name, file name, and the file name is just a string. So we just say diagnosis dot text. We just say dot text file or notepad text, and then we just say content. The content will be, let's say, use the templating, and we just add this here. Just say diagnose dot description, just like that. So now the other thing that we need to do, remember, is to now send the email and then update the eSend to be 1. So inside here, let me first of all add now. So I just say await and then send mail, just like that. And then inside here, just add this message options. You can see it is giving us error since we never included in our callback, because we are sending these emails inside this callback for render file. Just async here, and inside here now, what we'll do now, we need to add something else here, and this thing here need to update, need to do db.exec, and inside here now we'll call this update diagnosis sent email. Let me copy that here, that stop procedure. So because that name is very long, so that's all. And then if we have error, in console log error, just like that. And now this here is we need to have, if we need to have error or we have error, it will just print it in our console. So let me format the data here, or this code. You can see now, yeah, it's okay now. So that's okay. Remember, if you're not understanding, you can go through this video again, and you can just go and check on the source, the code that I will be pushing in our GitHub. You can look at the description of this video to get the link to the GitHub, and you just learn about the code and try and understand. And you'll just say and comment if you're not understanding. I'll just repeat and I will explain everything here. So let us cross this background services here, and there's somewhere I went in our backend we didn't finish. So let's go through here, and this is where we didn't finish, including all the routes here, because we need to include the routes here. So because remember, we need to have every route here, and we never did everything here, so we forget to continue or to finish with the routes. So let us continue and finish with the routes for today's tutorial. So inside here in our routes, we just check for now, we link the routes with our controllers or our MVs, our functionality or our logic. So let's start with the appointments here. So in our appointment here, I think we needed to have this one, create appointment actually, and this, though this is okay now. So we added it. So let us look at diagnosis. So in our diagnosis here, we only have this one route, but we require other routes. So inside here, the other route that we need to have is router and put. So that this one is one for updating, and then inside here we need to have an ID. So and then we call the update update diagnosis. So and the other one here we call it router dot post here, and inside here we'll have now user, we need to have user, and we need to have get, we need to get and get what we are calling it is, I think, get diagnosis for user, yeah, just like that. So you can get diagnosis for user because we'll be sending the email, and then we'll get the diagnosis that has or that have that email for the user or the patient. So let me format it. And now the other thing that where we need to look at is the patient. Don't think we included every route that is here, because you can see here in our appointments here, or in our patient here, we only have one route, but we need other route, because remember this one is corresponding with our controller here. In our patient here, you can see we have several controllers or functions. So let me first of all close this, and inside here in our patient we have only one create patient. So inside here we need to have a router dot get. So we get that, and this one we call the logic, or this function that is called get patients, this one there. And then we need to have a router, another route is put, this one is for updating, so we need to have this here, and ID, and again we need to update, call this update patient here. So the last one here is router dot now delete, because we be deleting patient if we want. So we need to have this this route here. So we need to get an ID so that we delete the patient, just like that. So that's all. And again, in our user here, I think we need to have for signing in. So we need to have this route for signing in. So because I think we need to have like, oh, there are many, by the way. So okay, so let's add them. So router dot post for signing in. So this one is for signing in. Actually, it's this one, and sign in. And this time we need to have sign in function here. So the other thing here, we need to have router, or another route is for getting all the users. So we need to get, and then inside here we need to have that here, and then we'll just call get users. You can see it here. And the other thing that you need to have is a router for deleting, and then to delete here, remember we require to have this ID, and then we'll call delete function here. So this one here, and then the last one will have a router dot get, and you need to get all doctors, get doctors, and we call the logic for get doctors, just like that. You can see it here. So that's all that we had not finished. So now our backend and our background services, working properly. So the other video that will be coming to look at is the integration from date now. From the day 16 now, we'll just start integrating, so that after integration the project will be complete. Now you just hang there, you learn a lot about this project, and when it will be coming all working together, you'll understand everything that I was doing. So for now, you can just go through the code. I'll just adding the link to the source code in my description, in the description of this video, and you can learn more about this, everything that I have done here. So without much ado, if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel, and again, you can like this video and comment. If you are not understanding, kindly you can email me. My email is on my channel description or about, and I'll just help you to solve some the errors, and we can talk one-on-one. So let me leave here and see you on the next video. Have a great day.